Hey everyone, it's Joy here for HoneyBee Stamps. Today I'm going to show you how I combined the Fancy Flakes A2 cover plates with the Lovely Layers Anemone to make a beautiful Christmas card. Now here is that Fancy Flakes A2 cover plate I die cut from white cardstock. Then I'm going to bring in the pierced A2 cover plate to add some gorgeous detail to these already beautiful snowflakes. So I'm just going to tape this in place with some low-tack tape and run that through my die cut machine. The piercing adds such detail to these snowflakes. It makes them look really dainty, and I really love that. Now you could use these cover plates separately from each other, like I die cut the original one. You could leave it like that, or you can use this pierced one, which isn't going to cut out a whole A2 size. It's just going to add the piercing to a background panel in the shape of the snowflakes, which is gorgeous. But look at the piercing on that. Isn't that just stunning? Now I'm going to add a little bit of inking with the Salvaged Patina on the outside edges of this snowflake cover plate die. I love this type of blue with a pop of red, which we are going to make the Lovely Layers Anemone in a red color. So I just want to add a little bit of this around. I still want to have a lot of white, keeping it where it's kind of giving it a frosty look, so you have some white and some blue on the snowflakes. I'm going to come in with a shimmer spray and add some nice shimmer detail, which I don't know that you can see on camera very well, but it just really adds a lot of shimmer to the background. Now here is that beautiful Lovely Layers Anemone die. So you have one large flower, you've got some greenery, you have your bud, and then you have your centerpieces. Now I die cut these from all colored cardstock, but I am going to add some detail with some Copic markers. You could die cut this from white cardstock and color it completely with Copic markers, or you can just die cut it from colored cardstock and not add any of this detail at all. But I'm coming in with R89, which is a really deep red, and just from the bottom of the petal out, just flicking outwards, but keeping it really towards the bottom because we just want that part to have some dark layers. Then I'm going to come in with the R37, which is about the same color as my colored cardstock, and I'm going to go back over that, flicking out a little bit past that R89, blending it out and kind of drawing in some of the embossed parts of the petals. And this is going to add some nice shading to the centers of our petals. I'm going to do this for that same little bud, and then I'm going to come in with a green marker, which is just slightly darker than my cardstock, and just trace in the embossed veins on these two leaves. And I'm going to do the same thing on that little petal, or excuse me, that little bud. For the centerpiece, I am going to be coloring this with a T9 and a T10, but I did die cut that from dark brown cardstock. I did not want to die cut this from black cardstock because I felt like that was going to be a little bit too stark. Now I'm going to use a ball stylus and just kind of gently rub that on the centers of my flowers because I want these to have some dimension, and I've got a little foam pad underneath to kind of give way when you're using your foam or your ball stylus, excuse me. Then I have another little tool that I'm using on the petals. I'm just going from the top to the bottom of the petal. And this kind of gives the petals some life and a little bit of dimension. It kind of curls them up and makes them look a little more real. Now you absolutely don't have to do this step, but I really wanted this to have a real look to it. So I'm going to add some glue to the centers, and the way that these line up is really super simple. There's a petal on each one of the layers that lines up with the one below. So that makes it super simple to adhere together. Now I'm going to glue that little bud together, and that top layer I just kind of bent a little bit with my fingers to give it a tiny bit of dimension as well. I'm going to glue on the leaves and kind of lift those up, and then those other two leaves that I have to the side there, I'm actually going to add some dimension with my tweezers. I'm going to place my tweezer at the base of each one of the leaves and just kind of bend it around, or bend the cardstock around the tweezer, and that's going to give these a little bit of dimension. Then I'm going to take the tweezers and go right up the center of the whole leaf and bend it around that too. And super easy to make your flowers not look so flat. Not that they look bad, because these are just beautiful anyways. I'm going to adhere the centers together, the 3 pieces, and then glue that to the middle of this really beautiful flower. And I love this deep dark red, and it's going to be so pretty against those snowflakes. I'm going to adhere this to a white A2 size card base with just a little bit of tape runner, put that in place. Then we're going to glue down the flower. I'm just going to use some liquid glue, and I'm going to line this up to the bottom left, adding some glue behind the leaves, the flower, and then we'll tuck in that cute little bud at the bottom. I didn't want to use a ton of flowers because I did not want to cover up that beautiful snowflake cover plate die. Now the sentiment that I'm using is going to say Merry Christmas, and this is from the Inside Holiday Sentiments. I'm prepping my white cardstock with a powder tool using some VersaMark clear embossing ink, coming in with some gold embossing powder. I'm going to heat that with my heat tool until it's melted. Then I'm going to use the coordinating die to die cut this out. I love that HoneyBee Stamps has coordinating dies for their sentiments. Now there's a ton of sentiments on this stamp set. This is cutting out like the really pretty scripty ones. Then I'm going to come back in with that little shimmer spray and spray my flower because I just felt like that needed to have some shimmer on it too. Now I have 2 layers of foam tape on the right side of my sentiment and then a little bit of liquid glue on my left side to adhere to the flower. And I'm just going to use my tweezers to hold that in place while I add some of the vintage holiday gem stickers. And I'm using the white ones, and I'm going to put those in the centers of all of my snowflakes. The red would have also been really gorgeous too, but I really wanted to keep the red to just the flower. But isn't this a stunning card? I love that blue combination with the red, but there's still a lot of white on the snowflakes. This is a stunning, kind of non-traditional Christmas card. I hope you guys enjoyed this so much. I enjoyed making it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.